Hi friends, in today's session we are going to start with our new chapter, that is transmission of motion and power. This is Faizan Kagti and I welcome you all to our lecture series of basic mechanical engineering. So let's begin. Transmission of motion and power. So in this, first of all, we will see power transmission elements. So first is drive. Now the question comes that what is drive? So we would say that drive is an intermediate mechanism which is used to transmit mechanical power or motion, or that is a rotational motion, from a driving shaft to a driven shaft, or we would say from a prime mover to a machine, or from one machine to another machine. So basically it is, remember, it is an intermediate mechanism. Now the question comes that what are the types of drives that are available? So we would say that gear drive is there, right? Then chain drive, then belt drive. So as we know that gear drive is used in a gearbox, right? That is basically in automobiles, that is four-wheelers, to transmit mechanical power from our IC engine to our wheels. Okay, so what in that case, what that intermediate mechanism will do? What that gear drive will do? So we would say that it can step up or step down the speed of a vehicle, right? So it is playing a most important role. Similarly in our motorcycles. So in motorcycles, which drive we are using? So we would say that chain drive is used to transmit mechanical power from our IC engine crankshaft to wheels, right? Similarly belt drive. So belt drives are used to transmit power in lathe machines. Then we would say drilling machines, various machines in which machining operations can be performed. Okay, so the main elements which are common to all the types of drive are first driving and driven shaft. Then after comes second connectors. So connectors are belts, then chains, gears, ropes and pulleys. Third is a supporting element. So supporting element means axle. Then bearing there could be. Then after brackets. So bearing, as the name itself suggests, it is going to bear something, right? Which means it is going to provide support to a shaft. Similarly, axle is a one type of a shaft which is going to absorb bending moment. Okay. Now further, holding elements. For example, coupling, then pin, key, bolt, nuts. Okay. Now comes what is shaft, then what is spindle and axle. So let's see that shaft is a machine member which supports revolving part of a machine such as pulleys, gears and flywheels. Shafts are usually cylindrical in shape but may be square or cross-shaped in section. There are basic two types of shaft. So first we would say transmission shaft, second is a machine shaft. Transmission shaft, as the name itself suggests, that it is going to transmit mechanical power from one machine to another machine. That is, an intermediate shaft is called a transmission shaft, remember. Similarly, second is a machine shaft. So the shaft which is directly connected to a machine is called a machine shaft. So basically a driving and a driven shaft is called a machine shaft, and a shaft in between both of them which is going to transmit a power is called an intermediate shaft or a transmission shaft. Next is an axle. So we would say that axle supports some rotating body such as hoisting drums, then a car wheel. It is used for transmission of bending moment only. Okay, so it is going to absorb and transmit bending force. Remember that, bending moment. Now next is a spindle. So we would say that spindle is a short shaft that provides motion either to the cutting tool or to the workpiece. So spindle is usually used in our mechanical workshops, that is in various machines, drilling machine, then we would say lathe machine, then grinding machines. In that all case, spindle shaft is used. Okay, and that shaft is a short shaft. Remember this characteristic. Now let's see further. Belt drives. So the first topic which we need to see is a belt drives. Belt drives normally used for transmitting power from one shaft to another shaft. Now what it consists of? So we would say it consists of two pulleys and endless belt is passed over both the pulleys. The portion of the belt which is having less tension is called a slack side, and a one which has a high tension is called a tight side. So as you can see, the construction of belt drive is shown, in which two pulleys are there. One is a larger pulley, another one is a smaller pulley, and on both the pulleys there is belt which is wind up. Okay, which means a belt is a connecting element which is going to connect driving pulley and driven pulley. So either of the one pulley would be a driving, another would be a driven. Okay, now let's see further types of belt drive. First is an open belt drive. So it is used to transmit power between two parallel shafts and rotating in the same direction. So you can see the diagram in which a driving shaft is shown, which is a smaller pulley which is rotating in a clockwise direction, and driven shaft is also rotating in the same clockwise direction as you can see on your screen, which means a power is transmitted from a driving shaft to a belt, and from a belt it is transmitted to a driven shaft. Now as you can see that a driver, that is a driving shaft, is going to stretch the belt from a bottom side, right? Which means tension, high tension will be created on which side? So we would say on a bottom side. So that side will become a tight side, and after that it is going to release that belt on a top side. So the driving shaft releasing a belt on a top side will become slightly loose, which means that loose side will have a low tension. So that side is called a slack side. Okay, now let's see further cross belt drive. So you can see it is used to transmit mechanical power between two parallel shafts but rotating in opposite direction. So you can see a cross arrangement is shown, in which a smaller pulley is a driving pulley, that is a driver, and a bigger one is a driven pulley. Now as you can see, a driver is rotating in a clockwise direction, whereas a driven is rotating in a anti-clockwise direction. Okay, so in this case a cross arrangement is formed, and because cross arrangement of belt is formed, and because of that this drive is called a cross belt drive. Remember its characteristic, that is it can only be used when two shafts are parallel and we need to transmit mechanical power in opposite directions, that is one clockwise, so another would be anti-clockwise. Okay, now let's see further. Next type is a quarter turn belt drive. Now it is used to transmit power between two shafts which are perpendicular to each other, which are at right angle and rotating in one definite direction. So in this case we would say the direction of rotation of both the shaft will be same, but shaft will be arranged perpendicular. So looking at a first diagram, as you can see, the driver shaft is in this form, right? That is, we would say perpendicular to the paper or plane, right? And a driven shaft is in this form, as you can see. Okay, which means the axes of both the shaft are perpendicular to each other, right? But one is on a upper side, that is driver is on a upper side, driven is on a lower side. So this is also an orientation in which we would require to transmit a mechanical power, that is when a two shafts are perpendicular and at definite distance. So how we can do that? So we would say we will use quarter turn belt drive. Okay guys. Now next type is belt drive with idler pulley. The idler pulley helps to increase the angle of contact of belt, so belt tension is increased and drive provides high velocity ratio. So basically we would say that whenever a slack side is formed, so because of a slack side there are chances of slip between a belt and a pulley. Okay, so if slip takes place, then transmission of a mechanical power from a driving shaft to a driven shaft will be reduced. So how we can avoid that? So we can avoid that by increasing the tension on a slack side of a belt. So you can see that driving shaft is rotating in an anti-clockwise direction, there is a smaller pulley. Driven shaft is also rotating in the same direction, right? So it is an arrangement of an open belt drive. Now in this case, which will be the tight side? So upper side will be a tight side and lower side will be a slack side. Now because of a slack side, now there are chances of a slip between a smaller pulley and a belt. If slip takes place, then we would say a forward motion of a driver will take place, but it will not carry belt along with it, which means a belt will remain stationary whereas a driver will rotate. So this is called a slip, right? Now why this occur? So this occur because of a slack side, that is a low tension on a slack side. So as you can see, the idler pulley is provided on a slack side, which is going to increase the tension, okay, on a slack side, and because of that a chances of slip will be reduced and power transmission will be more efficient. So this arrangement is called belt drive with idler pulley. Now next is a fast and loose pulley drive. It is used when a driven shaft or a machine shaft is to be started or stopped whenever desired without stopping the driving shaft. So as you can see, the diagram top view is shown. So one is a driving pulley and another one is a driven pulley. Now on a driven pulley, there are two pulleys mounted on a driven shaft. One is a fast pulley, another one is a loose pulley. The fast pulley will be directly connected to the shaft by means of a key, okay, which means the speed of a shaft and a fast pulley will remain the same, will rotate at the same speed, whereas a loose pulley is free to rotate on the shaft, that is a driven shaft. So what is the purpose of this? So we can say that if a driving pulley is a motor and a driven pulley is a machine, now when I require to stop my machine, so what I am going to do? So I am going to shift the belt from a fast pulley to a loose pulley. So loose pulley is going to rotate at a free speed, which means the shaft is not going to rotate. So we have stopped the machine, right? At the same time, we don't require to stop the electric motor, so the driving shaft will continue to rotate. Okay, and when it is required to start a machine, so what I am going to do? So I am going to shift the belt from a loose pulley to a fast pulley. Now we would say that whatever is the speed of a fast pulley will be the speed of my driven shaft, and my machine will start to rotate accordingly. Okay, so this is a function of fast and loose pulley. We can say that it resembles its function, it resembles to a clutch. Okay, now let's see our next type. So next type is a stepped cone pulley drive. Now it is used where different speeds are required at driven shaft while driving shaft runs at constant speed. So as you can see, why it is called a step cone pulley? So it is forming like a stairs, right? And it forms a conical shape. That is, first stair is a smaller one, top one, then second one is a bigger one, then third one is a little bigger one, right? You can see on a driven shaft. So it is actually forming a conical shape, and because of that the name given to a pulley is stepped cone pulley drive. Okay, now as you can see, the belt on a driving shaft is on a bigger pulley and that on a driven shaft is on a smaller pulley, which means if a driven shaft is a machine shaft and a driving shaft is a motor shaft, so in this case I would say I am going to step up the speed of a driven shaft. That is, a speed will be increased on a driven shaft. Okay, why? Because on a driven shaft smaller pulley is there, on a driving shaft bigger pulleys. Now when I am going to shift the belt to a second position, that is on a middle position, so you can see that the size of both the pulleys are same, which means the speed of both the driving and driven shaft will be same, will rotate at the same speed. And when I am going to transfer a belt on a third arrangement, so in that case on a driving shaft the pulley is of a smaller size, and on a driven shaft it is of a bigger size. So what is going to take place? So we would say a step down in speed will occur. That is, there will be a reduction in a speed of a machine shaft which has a bigger pulley. Now next type is a compound belt drive. It is used when we require a large speed ratio, velocity ratio, and when a distance between a driving shaft and a driven shaft is quite larger. That is, on a large distance both the shafts are arranged. So as you can see the arrangement, the driver you can see of a bigger size and a driven is of a number 4. Driver is number 1, driven is number 4, and distance between 1 and 4 is quite larger, as you can see. Now in this case, as you can see, that we have used an intermediate shaft on which we have arranged two pulleys, that is pulley number 2 and pulley number 3 on a same shaft. Okay, as you can see. Now what is going to happen, how it's going to operate? So for example, let's say that our driver, that is driving shaft, is rotating in a clockwise direction. Okay, so one is going to transmit a power to pulley number 2 by means of a belt which is of a smaller side. So a speed step up will take place, step up, right? That is, incrementing the speed of a pulley 2 will take place. Now whatever is the speed of pulley 2 will be the speed of a shaft, and finally that speed will be transmitted to our pulley number 3, right? So pulley number 3 of a bigger size. Now finally pulley number 3 is going to transmit that power to pulley number 4, that is our main driven shaft. So driven shaft is over here is a smaller size and pulley number 3 is of a bigger size. So further step up in a speed will take place, right? So for example, taking a simple example, that if a driver is rotating at a 2000 rpm revolution per minute, so let's say that pulley number 2 is of a half size. So what will be the speed of my intermediate shaft, pulley number 2 shaft? So we would say 4000 rpm, right? Now pulley number 3 will rotate at the same speed, that is 4000 rpm. Now finally pulley number 3 is transmitting a power to a driven shaft, that is our pulley number 4. Now let's say that pulley number 4 is again of half size of pulley number 3. So what is going to happen? So again a double step up will take place in speed. So finally at pulley number 4 the speed will be 8000 rpm, that is 4000 plus 4000. So this is how we would say that we are increasing a speed ratio, that initially the driver was at a 2000 rpm and finally 4 number pulley is at a 8000 rpm. So what we have obtained, so large speed ratio is obtained, and when both the shaft are at larger center distance. Okay. Now next is a velocity ratio of a belt drives. It is defined as a ratio of speed of driving pulley to the speed of driven pulley. Okay, so V is equal to N1 by N2. Assuming if there is no relative slip between the pulleys and a belt, then we can write pi d1 N1 is equal to pi d2 N2. So this is a circumferential velocity of pulley number 1, that is a driving pulley, and pi d2 N2 is a circumferential velocity of pulley number 2, that is a driven pulley. Now as you can see, after arranging we get N1 is equal N1 by N2 is equal to d2 by d1. So we can say that velocity ratio which is equal to N1 by N2 is also equal to d2 by d1. Okay, so this is a case for no relative slip. Now if thickness of belt is considered, then we can write velocity ratio is equal to N1 by N2 is equal to d2 plus t upon d1 plus t. Now further slip in a belt drive. So now the next question comes that what is slip? So we can say that slip represents a forward motion of a driving shaft without carrying a belt. Okay, so driving shaft is rotating but a belt is not rotating. Similarly, a slip can take place between a belt and a driven pulley. In that case, what is rotating a driven pulley? So we would say belt is rotating the driven pulley, right? So in that case, how slip can occur? So we can say a forward motion of a belt without carrying the driven pulley. So slip is usually expressed in percentage term. Okay, so there is a formula of slip. Considering the effect of slip, the velocity ratio can be written as N1 by N2 is equal to d2 by d1 into 100 upon 100 minus s. So there is a derivation for this equation, but that is not in your syllabus. So you have to directly remember this equation. Okay. Now next term is creep in belt drives. So what is creep? So we can say the alternate extension and contraction of a belt leads to increasing length of a belt. Okay, so whenever a driver pulley is going to stretch a belt on a tight side, so what is going to happen? So a tension will be created, which means a stretching, extension of a belt will occur. Because of that, slightly a slip can occur, and when that same belt is going to a slack side on a bottom side, so we would say a contraction in a belt will take place. Again, this will lead to a relative motion between a driver and a belt, and this could lead to a slip. Okay, so it is written that a relative motion between a belt and the pulley surface takes place, and this relative motion is called a slip. The creep in a belt leads to a loss of power and reduction of velocity ratio. Okay friends, so I hope that you are clear with today's topic. In this session we are keeping up till here. In next session we will see gear drives and chain drives. Till then, stay tuned and thank you all.